The shortest basketball player in the world?
I like your curiosity. I'll tell you. Muggsy Bogues is the shortest player in the National Basketball Association history, listed at 5 feet 3 inches tall. He was drafted 12th overall by the Washington Bullets in 1987.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I'm glad you asked.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Which club is the first to win Champions League?
That's very easy. Real Madrid. The first Champions League was won by Real Madrid during the 1955 and 1956 season.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Sports in a Jiffy on Impact Radio 102.1 FM Lagos.
Sports in a Jiffy is live on your radio. Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Wait, what? Are we about using the bottle word once again? Yes. You know what I mean when we talk about bottle. That's it. They always sit to top. But most times, they make it look like they're just an elephant. Yesterday evening, Arsenal traveled to the Molinos. Most definitely, it ended in a 2-2 draw. Well, for some football enthusiasts, they feel like at this point, Arsenal has lost their respect because they drew that game, but did not just draw honorably. It was gory scenes after that match, ending in a brawl between the Arsenal players and the Wolverhampton Wanderers players. Not the stuff of a champion, if you ask me. And then takes us back to that talk about mentality that was said by Rodri last year when Manchester City won the league against Arsenal, obviously. They have been second 3 times in a row. Are they going to be doing the forfeit? It's going to be left to be seen in the coming days. Maybe talk about substitution errors by the manager too, because they brought Bukayo Saka straight into the lineup from yesterday. Of course, he got the goal, but maybe not just enough to salvage the number of points that they needed in that particular game yesterday evening. 2-2 draw is ended, and right about now, Arsenal sitting at top of the English Premier League table, but with just 5 points in hand. And as it is, they travel to the London Derby later this weekend against Tottenham Hotspur. Another team fighting for their lives just 5 points above the relegation zone. How will that one end? And also, let me remind you that just after the game against Tottenham Hotspur, next in line is going to be another travel between them and also Chelsea. Big games loading up. And for Arsenal, will they be able to survive this? Will they be able to win the English Premier League? Maybe the title race, maybe it's over even before it's over for Arsenal right there. Sports in a Jiffy on Impact Radio 102.1 FM, taking you through some of the top stories making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sports. I will do a bit and pieces this morning tiptoeing through all of these major stories, and I tell you, whether you're a sports person or you're just someone who loves the thrill of the game or you're an athlete yourself, this is the right place for you to be, because the early bet has gone around the world to catch the scores, and I'll be serving to you fast with a lot of facts, keeping it compact for your listening pleasure right here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Your Deji Ajiboye is my name. Absolute honor to be your host on the show this morning. It's such a reminder that you can keep track of this update and more by following us across all social media platforms. We are live on our Facebook fan page at Impact Radio 102.1 FM, as well as our YouTube channel at Impact 102.1 FM. To the switch of the back of the net, let's get the show on the road. Taking reactions from all of the match, from all of the actions that went down last night in the world of football, in the world of tennis, in the world of basketball early this morning. We'll start from the home front I will take a look at the match day 22 rescheduled fixture that was played between Kwara United and also Rivers United right there at the George Ini Stadium at the Rashidi Yekini Membo. Not too good affair right there as well, because the game at the 90th minute it was 1-0, and come the 93rd minute Rivers United pulled one back to salvage a point for themselves on the road. They will be taking that one back with them to Rivers, but then the match, just like I mentioned, did not also end well, because match officials and also Rivers United general manager were being attacked after that dramatic draw right there in Ilorin. The Rivers United general manager Okpalu Akpalaku, who was said to be receiving treatment after he was being attacked by fans. Violence most definitely broke out yesterday after the NPFL match. Drum supporters attacked both match officials and prevented the whole team from leaving the stadium. There's been this video about 7 seconds that has been circulating on social media with the Rivers United general manager Paluku, who was attacked with blood gushing out on his face. More of an outbreak where you consider goal that late into a game, 90+3, you can tell. But then the fans alleged that Kwara United goalkeeper Suraj Ayelesho had been fouled in the build-up to the goal, and protesters were seen throwing chairs and even bottled waters, while others reportedly attempted to physically assault match officials amid the heated protest over that decision. And this now begs for the question: there should be more like what I would call MPFL clubs prioritizing their fans, MPFL club sensitizing their fans, because almost every match week, almost every match day in the MPFL now, there's always a story about fan trouble. Across all the match centers, there's always a story of fan trouble. Just name them. I'm not sure there's a team in the MPFL this season that have not had maybe a fair share of fans, disrupting the game at one point or the other. And this thing keep happening match day after match day. We see the Nigerian Premier Football League, the disciplinary committee come out, sanction them, give them a couple of fines, deduct points, ban them away from their home ground. But still, these things continue to happen across the different match centers. And best for the question, there should be football beyond the match day experience. So that maybe when you get to, talk heart to heart with these fans, just like you have the ultras who do it, in the European football too, maybe this will also bring this fan trouble, fan encroachment to the barest minimum. Well, just my own thought. Sporting a Jiffy on Empire Radio 102.1 FM, still taking you through some of the top stories that are currently making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sport this morning. And still on the home front, let's take a bit of stories making the round. That was talking about other sports on the show this morning. It's been said, according to record, that the Nigeria is now intensifying their athletic training for the Commonwealth Games. Just so you know, the Commonwealth Games is most definitely going to be happening later this year. That's going to be around July to August, if I'm not mistaken. July 23rd to be precise, to August 3rd. That is when the Commonwealth Games is going to be happening. And the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has now opened the camp last week, bringing together seasoned campaigners and also promising young talents at the Stephen Keshi Stadium ahead of the games, according to the camp update that was provided by the AFN, as the Athletic Federation of Nigeria's media department. 18 athletes and 10 officials are currently training in Asaba. Now in week 2 of the first phase, the focus has now shifted from general conditioning to more event-specific drills with light of sprinters, jumpers, throwers, and even hurdlers intensifying their routines. We look forward to a great showing right there at the Commonwealth Games, but the track and field athletes have definitely stepped up their preparations for the forthcoming Commonwealth Games. They're into the second week, and it's going to be like a 6 weeks training, or should I say 6 weeks camping that will be happening right there in Asaba. Big one from the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, putting these guys together as early as possible. Still more thoughts coming through from the world of sports on the show this morning. Sports in a Jiffy on Empire Radio 102.1. And let's go straight to the octagon of the UFC. I'll talk about this MMA fighter. The former 2-time UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has described his upcoming fight against Joe Pifa at the UFC Fight Night 271 in Soto on March 28th as the biggest fight of his life, insisting he returns from a year out of the octagon feeling unstoppable. Adesanya, who enters the bar on a 3-fight losing streak, said the stakes of the matchup go beyond the immediate result. Let me remind you that Adesanya, who holds the record for the second longest winning streak in the UFC middleweight history behind Anderson Silva, carries a professional record of 24-5 with 16 knockout victories into the fight against the 14th ranked opponent. He's saying, I just feel unstoppable. Everything I've done in this game has been for this moment in my life now, and that is it here. I just feel he doesn't want to mess it up right about now. Big love to Israel. So yeah, most definitely he's able to come out of that unscathed right there. A bit of gossip making the round right now, and some sort of good news. If this definitely pushed through, it's been said that former Manchester United star, that's talking about Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard is being linked with another unlikely transfer following his exit from the South Korean side FCCO. The 33-year-old is now a free agent and is said to be in talks with Remo, but no Remo Stars, guys. Instead, Lingard could be headed to South America. The club Remo, commonly referred to as Remo, in talks to sign him right there. It's called Club de Remo, a Brazilian professional football club based in Para. Was founded in February 5, 1905. They compete in the Brasileiro Série A at the top tier of the Brazilian football after gaining promotions last year. Away from that, right now, we skedaddle straight to Europe, bringing thoughts coming through from the world of tennis. Just so you know, a couple of tour matches, tour games are currently on the way. The WTA 1000, also the ATP 1000 events are currently going around, especially the WTA 1000 that is happening in Dubai. In the ATP this morning, Yannick Sinner and also Carlos Alcaraz remain on course to meet in the Qatar Open final after both claimed straight set wins yesterday. World number 2, Sinner beat Australian Alexei Popyrin 6-3, 7-5 to reach the quarterfinals in Doha before Alcaraz won 6-2, 7-5 against Francis Valentin Roya. The pair met in 6 finals last year, 3 of them at the Grand Slams, with world number 1 Alcaraz winning the French Open and the US Open, and now the 22-year-old Spaniard will next face Karen Khachanov, who beat Martin Fuchsovic 6-2, 4-6, 6-4, 6-6 Jakob Menchich, Brispa Zhang Zinzhen 6-3, 6-2 to set up a last 8 meeting with Sinner, who has now reached at least the quarterfinals in his 28th of his past 30 tournament, stretching back to the 2023 ATP finals in Turin. The 24-year-old Italian, who lifted last year's Australian Open and Wimbledon title, has now won 22 of his past 23 matches. His only defeat came against Novak Djokovic in the Australian Open semi-final last month. Meanwhile, Greece's Stefanos Tsitsipas upset world number 11 Dani Medvedev 6-3, 6-4 in Doha to book a clash with 5th seed Andrei Rublev, who beat Fabian Marozan 6-2, 6-4. The unseeded Frenchman Atofils and Serge Girileeka, seeded 8, complete the quarterfinal lineup, having also claimed comfortable victories. In the WTA this morning, former world number 2 Paulo Badosa has responded to claim she is disrespectful to the game following her withdrawal from a match in Dubai. The Spaniard beat Katerina Siniakova 6-3, 7-5 at the Dubai Tennis Championship on Monday night. Then a right side issue forced her to retire from the match against Elena Svitolina on Tuesday. The 28-year-old retired from 4 matches last year, was 4-1 up against Svitolina but lost the first set 6-4, and then having called for treatment, withdrew. A social media user accused Badosa of being disrespectful to the game as she cannot retire and withdraw from every tournament. And then in response, Badosa wrote and said, "You have no idea what it's like to live with a chronic injury and still choose to keep going. To wake up every day not knowing how your body will respond, searching for solutions and fighting for something you love and give everything to, even when it's difficult." According to the tennis player, she's saying that some weeks do become a bit of a sacrifice, and that's exactly what she's doing right there. Third seed Kokogav also defeated Filipino Alexandra Yela in the last 8 to move straight into the quarterfinals. Watching that game earlier this morning, and then after the game, she most definitely reckoned with the ALA fans, saying that she knows that the fans are most definitely supporting ALA, but as it is, she's also thanking them for giving her, for cheering her on during the game as well. The game most definitely ended in favor of Kogawa right there when she shined in that game. 6-2, 6-3, advancing confidently into the next round. And away from tennis talks on the show this morning, quickly bringing a recap of some of the matches that went down in the world of football from yesterday evening. We already mentioned to you that Wolverhampton Wanderers played out a 2-2 draw against Arsenal. Yes, not too good. Not too good for Arsenal right there. Quickly taking a look at that game at a glance. Bukayo Saka opened scoring for Arsenal to end the 15-game goal drought yesterday evening. Defender Piero Nkapi had the second with first goal for Gunners. But then Ogoberno's strike is followed by Tom Edozie's 94th minute effort that was deflected in off Ricardo Calafiori to level. Arsenal are now 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Bottom club Wolves are now on 10 points. How do you blow a 2-0 lead? The game that seemed to have been very much comfortable for them, but it turned on its head late into the finals. Yesterday evening as well, Karabakh lost at home to Newcastle United. This is the first time they are losing at home in the UEFA Champions League this season, and they had to do it against a Newcastle United side who also won by 5 goals. For the first time, this is the first time they are playing in this stage of the UEFA Champions League, and they are doing it emphatically. Talk about Anthony Gordon, who is also writing his name on a silver platter for the Newcastle United side right there. He scored 4 goals in the first half of that dominant display and make that 13 goals contribution for him so far in the UEFA Champions League for the club this season. Karabakh goalkeeper Kochowski made a series of saves to prevent further embarrassment, but then they only had 1 solitary goal to do with. Bodo and Glimt, the giant slayer, one time slayed Manchester City, one time slayed Atletico Madrid, and yesterday evening they did the unthinkable once again against Inter Milan. Let me remind you that this team has not played competitive football since November 2026 because of the winter right there in Norway. So their league is usually wrapped up before the end of the year. And just take a look at it. Look at how they are showing up. This is like the only game they are playing right now is just the UEFA Champions League, and they are doing it. They are doing it with so much pride. Club Brugge were being held to a 3-3 draw against Atletico Madrid, and Nigerian striker Onyedika getting on the score sheet in that encounter. Same with Ademola Lookman 3-3, and then they go straight to the Riyadh Air Metropolitano for the return leg come next week. Olympiacos lost at home to Bayer Leverkusen in that game from yesterday evening. While other games that were played across the top 5 European leagues, AC Milan also fumbled their chance of going top of the Italian Serie A when they were held by Como. That game ended in a 1-1 draw. And the Spanish Liga, Levante lost at home to Villarreal. Right there. Other matches will be happening today in the UEFA Europa League. Brown will be hosting Bologna. Dynamo Zagreb will be up against Genk. Fenerbahce will be hosting Nottingham Forest. PAOK Thessaloniki will be up against Celta Vigo. Celtic will be hosting VfB Stuttgart. Lille will be up against Real Star Belgrade. Ludogorets Razgrad will be up against Varennes-Savoy. While Panathinaikos will be hosting Victoria Plzen. Later this evening in the UEFA Europa League knockout round playoffs, the first round of matches. While in the Conference League, a couple of matches will also be going down later tonight. What you have mentioned is Crystal Palace will be traveling to Zrinski later this evening. Right there in the UEFA Conference League. In the UEFA Women's Champions League knockout playoffs as well, we also have Manchester United women against Atletico Madrid women. Aggregate score remains at 3-0, and Juventus men will be up against Wolfsburg. Aggregate at 2-2 right about now. Still sports in a Jiffy on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. Taking you through some of the top stories making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sport. Here's where I wrap up the show for this morning. And so many thanks to everyone who's been a part of it. The Sports Top Show returns tomorrow between 10 a.m. down to the flip side of 10, and later in the evening tomorrow as well. We'll be serving you the Sports Up Show between 5 p.m. down to 6 p.m. I will do 1 hour of banter, 1 hour of rage, 1 hour of views, reviews, and all of the interviews. In the words of Mikel Arteta, and just what I'll tell you as well this morning, stand up. What you need to do is to stand up, because that is what Arteta is urging his Arsenal players and also the fans to do after their title bid seemed to have are rocked by that Wolves draw yesterday evening. You must have been incredibly disappointed at whatever it is that is happening around you now, but I need you to know that you have that winner inside of you. So what you need to do is to stand up, stay sporty, stay active, drink enough water to stay hydrated, go out there and be the best version of yourself. Remember to be kind, because kindness is cool. I will see you when I see you once again. Do have a blessed and highly favored Thursday. This is Empire Radio 102.1 FM. Ayode Jajiboye signing out. Bye for now.
From the greens of golf to the court of tennis and basketball, the octagon of UFC to the square room for boxing, track of Formula One, and the pitch of football.